Remember when it was a thought crime to question election results? If you had issues with any particular outcome, you were labeled a conspiracy theorist or an election denier. Just think of the countless people who were banned from social media for simply questioning the 2020 election. Well, apparently, Jasmine Crockett has been living under a rock all of this time because she's now warning the Democrats that next year's midterm elections are about to be rigged. But just wait till you hear this. She's saying that it's going to be Dominion that's doing the rigging. You can't make this stuff up.
Know that one of his friends has purchased Dominion. So it's going to be really important for us to educate all states that we can to make sure that their Secretary of States are like, we don't want the Dominion machines. Because I personally believe that that ally purchased Dominion so that he could potentially play with the machines, because we know that they're trying to cheat by changing the lines for the midterms. And I think that they're trying to solidify their cheat potentially with the voting machines.
Okay. I seem to remember this lawsuit around $1 billion against Fox News for making similar claims about Dominion. Dominion, are you going to sue Jasmine Crockett for defamation? Because she's suggesting here, she's not even hiding it, that you guys are going to rig next year's elections. You know, just keep the Republicans in power. The fact that she's going off on this deep and loony, hypocritical, ironic conspiracy theory tells me that she and the Democrat Party are not confident in next year's midterm elections. Now, I know just last week the Democrats had a huge turnout, but here's the thing. Yes, Democrats won, but they won in blue areas, and those margins were larger than any of us would like. We were panicked that that is a bad sign leading into next year, but something happened that has changed the equation. Essentially, the shutdown came to an end. Of course, the Senate has voted and it's going through the House, so it's not yet a done deal, but it looks like, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel is right here. The government's about to reopen. But what that has done has triggered an internal civil war within the Democrat Party. They are oh so mad at the defectors. They are oh so mad at Chuck Schumer. So whatever momentum that the Democrats thought they had from last Tuesday's electoral results, well, that momentum is now gone. And the Democrats are so consumed with the infighting that it's going to be easy for them to lose track of the bigger picture. Now, a lot of the anger has been targeted towards Chuck Schumer, and more high-profile Democrats have been coming out questioning his leadership. Just take a look at what Representative Ro Khanna had to say.
If Chuck Schumer called you today, or he dropped by your office, or you went by his office, what would you say to him?
I'd say, look, Senator, it's not personal. I respect some of the things you've accomplished in your career. I get that we would not have had the Chips and Science Act if it weren't for your leadership. I get that we would not have had the Inflation Reduction Act, but for your leadership. I appreciated what you did with the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But you know what? You've just lost touch with where the base of the party is. You've lost touch on foreign policy, where you supported the war in Iraq and then a blank check to Netanyahu, and you refused to endorse Mamdani. And then this is the second time you've had the shutdown fight, and you've caved both times. And it's time for you to gracefully make way for a new generation.
The timing of this could not be worse for the Democrats. Just recently, Nancy Pelosi said she's not running for re-election. So there ends that dynasty. And Chuck Schumer's end is obviously right around the corner as well. And, you know, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have been so obsessed with power, so unwilling to let go and pass the baton, that the Democrats don't really have any up-and-comers. This is going to be a fight to establish power. You have, you know, those older Democrats like Ro Khanna, Gavin Newsom, but then you also have the younger crop like AOC and Jasmine Crockett. It's going to be a power struggle all around, and I just don't see how they're going to be able to safely and calmly resolve this and result in a united party before next year's midterm elections. The fight isn't just generational, it's ideological. Does the party pull further to the left a la Mamdani? Or are there enough normal, sane people to say, hey, we need to tack closer to the center? Even on CNN, they were admitting that Chuck Schumer's approval ratings are actually the worst in history. How's that for a united Democrat Party?
How are Democrats feeling overall about Schumer? We've seen a lot of comments from some House Democrats, but what about overall?
What about Democrats nationwide feeling about Chuck Schumer? I think the word of the day is terrible, 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 terrible. To quote another Charles Barkley when it comes to Chuck Schumer, look at this. Least popular Dem Senate leader ever. I looked at all of the polls going all the way back since 1985. The one who has the lowest rating among Democrats is, in fact, Chuck Schumer. Look at this. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party, he's underwater. He's at -4 points. That makes him the least popular guy for a Dem Senate leader going all the way back since the mid-1980s at
just not a great sign, not good information at all for the Democrats. They thought they were riding high. And now that we're pretty much on the other side of the shutdown, what exactly do the Democrats have to show for this? They use the American people as leverage. They hurt federal employees. They hurt air traffic controllers, which, by the way, put countless lives at risk. I mean, they caused all of that damage. They caused all of that chaos. What's the grand prize for the Democrats? Did they get their subsidies? Were they able to pass any of their radical legislation? No. All they got now from all of this chaos is a deeply fractured and divided party. How is that for chaos? It's so chaotic that Democrat senators don't even know who the leader of their party is. And that's not my opinion. Just take a look at what John Fetterman said on Fox News.
Who is running the show now in the Democratic Party, in the Senate, in the House?
No one really knows, and I think my values are reflected in my vote and the things that I support here, and if that might put me at odds with parts of my party, I'm okay with that. I mean, we need to be a big party, a big tent party. So for me, it's like these are pretty reasonable. I mean, my party's always been opposing shutting our government down. I'm not sure why it's controversial now to devote these things. And I refuse to put all these people in the middle of this political kinds of brinkmanship.
Yeah, this is such a rift that I don't see this resolving within the next week. It sounds like similar to how there is an internal fight within MAGA and the Republican Party. It's clear that the Democrats are going through their own reckoning. Well, because of last Tuesday's election results, some in the Democrat Party have learned the wrong lesson. They believe that pulling the party further to the left is the right idea. They forget, the demographics of New York, and they forget that New York is just its own beast, but they think that that is representative of the entire country. Just take a look at what Bernie Sanders is saying the Democrats need to do in regards to their candidates.
So what we have got to do is go above and beyond what happened yesterday, that terrible, terrible vote, and understand that, yes, you have parts of the Democratic establishment who are way, way out of touch with where the American people are or where we have got to go. And our job is to build a political movement. We are doing it with the 3 candidates for the Senate. I expect more to come with many candidates in the House, candidates all over this country running for local office. We're going to build that movement, grassroots movement, to do what Mamdani did in New York City, all over this country.
Now, even though socialism is a radical idea, and it's hard for many people to believe or even admit that this could be embraced nationwide, I don't think we should take anything for granted. Even though the economy is proving, and even though the Trump administration is doing whatever they can to, help the American people out, reality is things are still tough. People are still hurting. Jobs, they're just not being created as fast as we would like. Wages aren't rising, even though prices are better today than they were under Joe Biden. They are still expensive. It's just hurting everyone. Everyone is feeling the pinch. And so when you have that backdrop, it just makes the siren song of socialism and, oh, the government's here to help you. Oh, the government's here to pass out freebies left and right. It just makes that siren song all the more appealing. So we shouldn't take anything for granted, and it's up to us to make sure that people are aware of the dangers of socialism. Well, Kamala Harris is, trying to make a comeback in the midst of this Democrat Party chaos. It's really clear they don't have a leader. She wants to run again in 2028. We all know this. The writing's on the wall. And she is now reflecting on her last failed campaign, and she claims that she was playing 3D chess against Trump because she didn't want to get played. But before we get into that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Lay Hirano, Bama Riddenauer, Killer GMA, thank you so much, very gracious of you, Suwa Chan, and Jeremy 2001 Happy. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here and glad that you enjoy. Without further ado, here's Kamala Harris saying, how she didn't get played.
I was aware of my opponent's strategies, and I wasn't about to fall prey. Or fall into those traps. And part of his strategy and those around him was to try and take me off our game and message. And I wasn't about to be distracted by those flames that he was trying to throw to get me away from my highest priority, which was talking to people about the economy and their well-being in terms of their financial well-being. And so I understood the game that was being played, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to get played. And
chess, not checkers. Got it.
Chess, not checkers. Yeah, three-dimensional chess. I'm telling you. You know.
I hate to say it, Kamala. Well, I'm happy to say it. I hate it for you. But I do think you got played. You lost. How is that for three-dimensional chess? You should maybe read the rule books sometime again, because I don't think it works exactly the way that you think that it does. Now, even though there's a ton of infighting within the Democrat Party, this all has me excited because I think things are about to get a lot worse for them. If you just consider it, like it's almost this simmering tension. Sure, they're bashing Chuck Schumer, but we have all these factions that have yet to really start confronting each other. Kamala Harris, with her being in the game, I think the woke crowd is going to come to her defense. They're going to say that she needs another shot. You have Gavin Newsom trying to rise up. You have the power struggle that's going to happen in the Senate and the House. You have Bernie Sanders trying to pull the party even further to the left. You have Jasmine Crockett, who's now going crazy at the redistricting in Texas. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it's only a matter of time until these factions really start fighting against one another. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view. And I would love to hear from you. So my take is that, you know, the Democrats had momentum from last Tuesday's elections, but the shutdown, the end of the shutdown and the defections, I believe, have really ruined that momentum and have splintered the Democrat Party. Do you agree? Or do you think that the Democrats still have the wind behind their backs from last week's wins? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.